I made some notes before I came over, but I didn't really have to look at her bio. I just used the stuff that I knew, right? So Ann has no idea what I'm getting ready to say. I know she's from New Jersey, I hope. Right now. And I remembered last time she was here, we talked, and her father's a former Tuskegee Airman. Is that true? Yeah, wow. But she's a former E.M.E.R.G.E Fashion Fair model. We can tell that. She's actually produced fashion shows for the National Black Caucus too, right? Wow. Now let's fast forward to her writing, training, and speaking skills. Obviously, you guys see the book, The Gifted Trap, and I just made this little thing. Emerge from gifted to great. We all are here saying the same thing. Can Ann share a nugget that'll take me from being gifted to great? Because there's greatness inside of all of us. We know that. Thank you, Ann, for being able to unlock that tonight. We appreciate that. I saw something because I'm a big sports guy, but a guy by the name of James Brown, who's a CBS Sports and News sort of character. And here's what he said about The Gifted Trap. I like this. The Gifted Trap is a revealing exploration into the world of gifted and talented adults who are living less than lives. Less than lives. It brings into focus a widely experienced yet rarely talked about phenomenon of people trapped in emotional quicksand. You may be hidden behind a perfect or possibly a not so perfect facade, longing for a sense of freedom that allows you to simply be you. As an international recognized author and speaker, she's a leader, communications and clarity expert. We all need that. Let's give a warm Silicon Valley welcome to Miss Ann Palmer.
Isn't he the best? He's just the best. And I just want to clear the record, because I don't want anybody going back in the E.M.E.R.G.E Fashion Fair records to see if my name was there, okay? Because I wasn't an E.M.E.R.G.E Fashion Fair model, but I was an international model. For people like Givenchy, you may have heard that name in Paris, and Bill Blass in New York, just a few people. But so I just wanted to be clear, because clarity is my thing, and I don't want to claim that I was something that I wasn't. Although I would have been if they would have had me, but it just so happens that they didn't. But I'm honored. I'm honored to be here with all of you. I feel like this is sort of my home away from home now. I've been here like 4 or 5 times now, E.M.E.R.G.E. You keep bringing me back. I think you may want me or something. No, I believe, and when I started my own business, I decided I wanted to have a business that would allow me to work from anywhere in the world and connect with people whose lives I could make a difference in, as long as I had an internet connection, a cell phone, and life in me to give my gifts and share them with the world. So I'm blessed to have carved out a business that allows me to do that. I couldn't be here tonight if it hadn't been for a commitment by the Chamber. Carl, thank you for extending your resources, not only your monetary resources, but your resources, human resources inside of the Chamber to help make everything happen. So all I had to do was show up. Okay, that's the best way to speak, right? You just walk in the door and then so thank you for believing in me and feeling as though I had something of value that I could share. I also want to thank Queen Anne. We didn't know each other before today. Actually, we had talked on the phone, but we hadn't had an opportunity to actually interact face to face. And this is a woman who, whether she knows it or not, she's already clear about her purpose, because she is using her gift of wanting to connect with people and help make their lives better. And she's been using it in every way possible. She's been doing it for years. 30 years, did you tell me you've had your TV show? And so when you're clear about what it is you're called to do on the planet, opportunities just come to you and you are living and doing things that bring you joy. How many people have ever felt the feeling of joy? Yeah, well, wouldn't it be great if everything you did in your life had that feeling motivating you on a day-to-day basis? Well, we're going to talk about how you can maybe tap into that level of clarity about why you're here so that that can become your reality every day. I also want to thank the Coalition of 100 Black Women of Silicon Valley. Vera, E.M.E.R.G.E, Gloria, Janice, Deborah, you all are part of a unique cadre of women who have made a commitment to make a difference in this region, and you're doing that. And I had the distinct honor of being able to guide them through a visioning process to figure out what is their purpose as an organization and how can they make a significant difference here in the Silicon Valley. And hopefully what we walked away with was a roadmap for you for at least a little while in terms of how you can not only be clear about your vision, but we spent time talking about their values. It's what you value in life that makes a difference. And I believe it was Malcolm X who said it best. He said, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And so being clear about what your values are and what you want to stand for in life is so critically important. But then to take that a step further and have the practices that reinforce those values so that you can actually live them and not just have them be words on a piece of paper. You know, almost every organization has their values and has their vision, but how many of them are actually living them? So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So thank you again to the Chamber, to Queen Anne, and to the Coalition of 100 Black Women. Without you, I would not be here with all of you tonight. And I want to say that I believe in the Chamber enough that I actually joined the Chamber. So I'm honored to play in the sandbox here whenever I can. Right. May I share a story with you? It was January 20th, 2009. Anybody remember what that day was? The first inauguration of Barack Obama. Really special day for our country. But it was also a really special day for my father. Because as one of the surviving Tuskegee Airmen, he was invited to be on the Capitol steps, enjoying history in the making. So 10 days prior, I went to Washington to get my dad all ready. And I walked into my parents' apartment, and there was my father slumped in a wheelchair. Fortunately, they lived in an assisted living facility that was adjacent to a hospital. So within a matter of minutes, I had him in the emergency room. And within 24 hours, I had the news that my father had cancer that from 20 years prior that had metastasized through his body. And they said, all we can do is hospice at this point. So for the next 10 days, my father lay in his deathbed. And he proceeded to stop breathing 6 times. And each time, he chose to start breathing again. Now, daughters and daddies have a really special bond, right? So I made sure that I told my father, it's okay. It's okay, Daddy. You can go. But he held on. And so the morning of the inauguration day, I sat with him and held his hand as we watched history in the making. And I could feel through his pulse the pride that he was feeling. And after the formal ceremonies were over and the parade began, my mother came and sat next to my father and held his hand. And they enjoyed the parade together, the pageantry of seeing the first African-American first family. And when that last float passed before the White House, which I was informed by one of the members of the Coalition of 100 Black Women was the NASA float, my father looked out the window at an American flag that was flying outside of the window, looked at my mother, who he'd been married to for 62 years, and took his last breath. He chose that moment to punctuate his life. Because that moment represented what he and his fellow Tuskegee Airmen had fought for, what they had lived for over 6 decades without being recognized for the contribution that they made to American history. Somehow or another, on that day, in that moment, the playing field was finally leveled. It made his life have a new level of meaning. So I wrote a letter to Barack Obama to let him know just how much him being the president of this country meant. And about a week and a half later, on the way to the grave site where my father was going to be buried and to the memorial service, I received a personal letter from Barack Obama, the first African-American president of our country. And I'll read from my book, Dear Anne, it is with a heavy heart and a deep sense of gratitude and honor that I offer my condolences and join you in celebrating the life of your father, Augustus L. Palmer. I understand that he passed away on Tuesday and was unable to attend the inauguration, and so I am especially grateful for the opportunity to extend my appreciation for his legacy of service and sacrifice. The debt owed to men like your father is immeasurable and can only hope to be repaid through service on behalf of generations to follow. The Tuskegee Airmen were genuine trailblazers, and I am one of the humble many who stand on their shoulders. Once again, please accept my sympathies for your loss. When I lost my mother and most recently my grandmother, I took comfort in knowing that they would stay in my life so long as I remained committed to the values they imbued in me. I hope the same holds true for you. As you honor your father's life, may his memory bring you great joy. Sincerely, Barack Obama. Values. Those trailblazers blazed trails because they had a clear sense of their values and their purpose. So tonight, in the short period of time I have with you, I want to impart a little bit of my awareness of what it means to own all of your gifts. Be clear about your values. Align practices around them that allow you to live those values. Lift the lid off of limitations that are holding you back and live into a legacy that will leave an indelible mark on this planet, in your community. It doesn't have to be that you are a World War II veteran that achieves the extraordinary, but we each can leave an indelible mark right where we are. And it will ripple out and impact the rest of the world. So that is my intention, to hopefully unlock and unleash within you whatever it is that is keeping you playing double dutch instead of jumping in and living full out. So who's ready to play in my sandbox with me tonight? Great. So this is deep emotional work. And in order to do deep emotional work, you have to create a safe container. And the way to do that is to form some agreements. So what I'd like for us to do is to form some agreements together, because there may be some things that come up during the course of our time together that may get to be a little bit raw. And I want you to feel safe. So do we all agree to be fully present first? May I see by a show of hands who's going to be fully present? Thank you. And could I ask you to turn off any distractions? If you have, for any reason, need to leave your phone on, turn it on mute. But if you can give yourself the gift, you've come out here, give yourself the gift tonight of being fully present and maximizing what you get out of this. So everybody's in agreement for that? Let's also agree to be honest. And I don't mean be honest necessarily with everybody else. Be honest with yourself. Because see, we all play mental games with ourselves. We all try and pretend that maybe it's a little bit better than it is, or maybe it's not as bad as we think it is, and we need to own that. Be honest with yourself, because you can only grow and expand from a place of truth. So I invite you to be honest. Who's going to be honest with themselves here? Beautiful, thank you. I also ask you, to the extent possible, to please stay until the end for two reasons. Number one, I've designed something that in order for you to really get the most out of it, you need to stay until the end. But also at the end, there's going to be a special surprise. Hopefully you all have put your name or your business card, a phone number with a phone number and email in it, in that jar right there at the front desk, because I'm going to pull a card out at the end, and someone in this room is going to win a clarity session with me. So that alone, I hope, will entice you to stay. The other thing I want you to do is to refrain from judging. If I'm not going fast enough, or if I'm going too slow, or if I maybe touch somebody in an emotional way that brings up some stuff, just be there. Send love and don't judge. Because see, we live in a thought system based on judgment. It's a world where we look for what's wrong with things before we look for what's right. So I ask you that when you feel yourself standing in judgment, check yourself and say, let me just allow the space to see what kind of transformation might happen in this space. Okay? And the last thing is the most important thing of all. Let's have some fun. Who's up for some fun? Great. So, I'm going to test you to see whether or not you are going to play full out right now. I would like you all to stand up. And then I'd like for you to find someone in the room that you do not know and stand in front of them. Face to face. Just stand in front of them. No need to talk. All right, so now what we're going to do, I'd like you to listen. What we're going to do is I'm going to give you about 30 seconds, and what I'd like for you to do is to just look into the eyes of the person in front of you. Refrain from speaking. Just look into the person's eyes in front of you. So now, look at your partner, and look into the eyes of your partner, and just hold your gaze. Look into those eyes, and see something beautiful about that person. What do you notice? What's the most unique characteristic about that person standing in front of you? Can you feel that person's heart beating? What do you imagine that person is really like? What do their eyes tell you? And now, imagining that the eyes are the gateway to the soul, send that person a positive message without saying a word, just through your eyes. Tell them something that you want them to know, and just use your eyes. And now, repeat after me. I see you. I see the beauty within you. I see your special gifts. And the world should see more of you. Now, in whatever way you and your partner feel it's appropriate, give your partner a hug or a handshake or whatever you feel is most appropriate. So, thank you. Now, remain standing where you are if you can. Okay, so I'd like to ask a question. Did anybody find that uncomfortable? Yeah. Tell me a little bit about what you felt.
Discomfort, because that's not something that I normally do. Oh, nothing in particular. Oh, I'm Alaya, and I mean, it's just not something I normally do. It's very intimate, and especially with a female. Especially with a female. Yeah. And that's not something that I can hold a gaze, but not that long, it's without, like you said, thoughts coming up. So, yeah, that was my experience.
It's very intimate, and it's uncomfortable because you don't know what they're thinking, and you do start to create these thoughts about them. But they were positive thoughts. I saw a lot, but when you had them speak to us at the end, like the world wants to see more of you, it became a little emotional. So, yeah.
So what about the world seeing more of you was emotional for you, may I ask?
That has a lot to do with me, personally. You made me cry.
No, you allowed yourself to be seen, and you allowed yourself, you okay? She allowed herself to really be present instead of hiding out and not allowing us to feel what you're feeling right now. Because you are absolutely stunning. And when you said that she was worried about what he was seeing and what he was thinking. That's a perception. And we spend an awful lot of time worrying about what other people think of us. And I'm here to tell you that what other people think about you ain't none of their business. It's none of your business what they think about you. Because the only thing that really matters is how you feel about you. Thank you.
Thank you.